everyone, this is Srikanth, working as assistant professor in electrical department. Here we have a problem on two-port network. So T-type network, generally which networks we have different networks. For the T-type network, I need to find out like Z parameters, Y parameters, ABCD parameters as well as H parameters. Okay, we will check it now. Here I have small problem like T-type. So only 3 resistor I have, 10 ohms, 15 ohms and 5 ohms. Only 3 resistor I have. So for this T-type network, I need to find out the parameters. So like two-port network parameters. Which parameters we have? Z parameters, ABCD parameters, Y parameters as well as H parameters. We'll check it one by one now. So for this network, just mention the voltages. So V1 input side and output side. Here we have input side current I1 and output side current I2. Okay. Now I want to move for like Z parameters. Z parameter. For Z parameters, like voltages V1 and V2 in form of I1 and I2. Am I right? So generally that is a Z parameters formation. Now equation, just observe the equations we have V1 and V2 I1 like Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2 and Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So these are the equations from Z parameters. Now I want to find out the values for this network. So for this two-port network, T-type two-port network, if you convert, so from the circuit to equation or any logic. So I want to go for both. So with equation and logic. So first I will move to the logic. So from this two equation, your logic, when I2 equal to 0. So when I2 equal to 0, I2 equal to 0, that means secondary side is open, then your Z11 value. So Z11 equal to V1 by I1. Same thing, Z21 equal to V2 by I1 when I2 equal to 0. Same thing, I1 equal to 0. So I1 equal to 0 means primary side is open. So primary side open. Now you can find out Z12 value, that is V1 by I2, and Z22 value, that is V2 by I2. So these are the conditions. So when primary side is open, I can find out some parameters. When second side is open, I can find out some parameters using these two equations. Using these two equations, I can find out the values. Now same condition, which condition we have, using that condition I want to draw the circuit now. So for this circuit, what is the first condition? I2 equal to 0. For I2 equal to 0, I want to draw the circuit. Now observe clearly. So I2 equal to 0 means secondary side is open. So we have open circuit and short circuit. Two conditions we need to use in two Z parameters and Y parameters. Like not only Y parameters, when I want to solve those conditions, depending upon condition, I want to solve those parameters values means, so open circuit as well as short circuit. So open circuit means, so when currents are 0, like primary side or secondary side, then we need to go for the open circuit. And short circuit means when voltage is 0. So when voltage is 0 means when you have the Y parameters, we need to go for the voltage is 0. So for that condition, I need to go for the voltage is 0 means short circuit. Current is 0 means open circuit. Voltage is 0 means short circuit. Y means, so open circuit and short circuit, we have two conditions. Open circuit, current is 0 and open circuit voltage is maximum. So how much voltage we are applying, that is the open circuit voltage, maximum voltage, and open circuit current is 0. Coming to short circuit, we have current is maximum and voltage is 0. So for short circuit condition, the voltage is 0, so we have a maximum current. So how much current we have from the input side? Okay, these are the two conditions, open circuit and short circuit. Now I equal to I2 equal to secondary side is 0. Secondary side is 0 means I will draw the circuit now. So when I2 equals 0, that means secondary side is 0. So primary side I have some voltage, that is some V1, and here 10 ohms is there, and here 5 ohms is there. And what about secondary side? Secondary side is open. So secondary side open means 15 ohms. I2 equal to 0. So V2 value we need to find out. So I2 equal to 0. So this is my circuit now. Now observe, when I2 equal 0, I require V1 value, I1 value and V2 value. So from this circuit, I need to find out the V1 value and I1 value and V2 value. So V1 value means which supply we have, that is your V1 value. So if you know I1 value, so V1 by I1 is your Z11 value. Okay, then again if you know like V2 value, so V2 by I1, that is Z21 value. Okay, so I need to know like V1 value, that is the supply, so no need to worry about the supply. And if I know the I1 value, so from here if I know the I1 value, I will get like Z11 value. If I know like V2 value, so I will get the V2 value. I2 equals 0. Then what about like 15 ohms current? So 15 ohms current is 0. Here I have a small logic here. Just observe. Suppose here I have 1, 2 and 3 resistor. 3 resistor I have. Okay. And nodes. Just mention nodes A, B, C. 1, 2, 3 ohms I have. Now I want to find out the equivalent value R equivalent between A and B. So what is the R equivalent between A and B? In this circuit, what is the R equivalent? That is 1 ohm and 3 ohm. This is your R equivalent. What about 2 ohms? 2 ohms is open condition. So open condition, there is no current flow. Current flow through only 3 ohms. And one more same condition. So I again 3 resistors I have. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So between A and B. Then what is your equivalent value? So 2 and 3 both are in parallel. So not in open condition. Both are in parallel and series with 1 ohm. But here the 1 and 3 only your equivalent value. Why can't 2 means 2 is open circuit. So open circuit current is 0. So there is no current flow in this 2 ohms. So we have current flow through this path only. Okay. If suppose I want R equivalent between A and C. I want R equivalent. For this only 1 and 2 we need to add. Series means we need to add 1 plus 2, that is 3 ohms. What about 3 ohm resistor? This 3 ohm resistor is open now. So I want only between 1 and, so A and C, not B. So 1 and 2 are in series. Series means we can add both values. What about 3 ohms means 3 ohms is open now. So no need to worry about that 3 ohms resistor. So same thing here. Here I want like I1 current now. So first I want to measure I1 value. For this circuit I want to measure I1 value. So 15 ohms is open. So no need to worry about the 15 ohms. What about your circuit now? So 10 ohms and 5 ohms and your voltage. Okay, that is 10 ohms and 5 ohms. This is open. So no need to worry about that resistor. and here we have the V2 value. Am I right? So V2 we have. So V2 we have means across the which resistor? Across the 5 ohm resistor. So 5 ohm resistor, which voltage we have? That voltage is your V2 voltage. So at 5 ohms, which voltage we have? That is your V2 voltage. V2 voltage is nothing but your 5 ohms voltage. V5 ohms. Now just measure the I1 current. I1 and V1. So I1 means I1 equal to V1 by your R. Am I right? Here we have only one loop, single loop. We have only one current, I1 current. So I1 current is V1 by R. So voltage by resistor. So what is the V1 value? V1 value we don't know, but R we know. So both resistor in series. So 10 plus 5, 15. So now your V1 by I1 is equal to 15 ohms. So from this circuit, V1 by I1 is equal to 15 ohms. So what is your V1 by I1? V1 by I1 is nothing but your Z11, that is 15 ohms. Okay. Now one more I want, like I know the I1 value, but I don't know V2 value. So what is the V2 value? V2 value is nothing but across the 5 ohms. Across the 5 ohms, which voltage we know? That is the V2 voltage. So across the 5 ohms, which current we have? I1 current. So I1 into 5. That means current into resistor is nothing but your voltage. That is V2 voltage. So at 5 volts, at 5 ohms, I want to find out the voltage. So that voltage is nothing but I into R. So which I we have? I1 current. I1 current into your resistor. That is 5 ohm resistor. So here V2 by I1 is nothing but your 5 ohms. So V2 by I1 is nothing but your 5 ohms. Nothing your Z21 value. So Z11 value, Z21 value. Okay guys. So for Z11 I want V1 by I1. So V1 by I1. So for that I2 is 0. I2 is 0. For I2 is 0 means 15 ohms. I don't have any current. So it's an open circuit. So remove that resistor and I need to find out the I1 value, V1 value, V2 value. For I1, that is I1 equal to V1 by R1. So V1 by R, total R. So V1 value is, we don't know V1 value, by R is total R. Total R is 10 plus 5. 15 ohms. So from this we know like V1 by I1 equal to 15. Clear? Now I want to find out like 5 ohms voltage. Which voltage we have? That is V2 voltage. So I want V2 voltage. V2 voltage is now open. So across the 15 ohms. So 15 ohms which voltage we have? So not 15, 5 ohms. 5 ohms which voltage we have? That voltage is nothing but your V2 voltage. So V2 voltage I need. For that the 5 ohms voltage is I into R. So what is I we have in that? I1 current. So I1 current into your resistor 5 ohms. So here V2 by I1 is nothing but 5. So V2 by is nothing but Z12, that is 5 ohms. So this is when I2 equals 0, then we can find out the Z11 value, Z21 value. So that is 15 and 5. Now I want I1 equals 0. Now I1 equals 0. Just observe now. For I1 equal to 0, then primary side is open and secondary side I2 is, we have some voltage, that is V2 voltage. Okay, we know V2 voltage now and find out like I2 current and at 15 ohms, 5 ohms and 10. Here I2 is, so I1 is 0. So V1 I require. So when I1 is 0, I need to know about like V1 value, I2 value and V2 value. If I get like a V1, V2 and I2 value, I will find out like Z12 value, Z22 value. First I will go for Z22 value. For Z22 again same, which method we have, same thing we will do again. So what about 10 ohms here now? When I1 is 0, so 10 ohms current is 0. So no need to worry about the 10 ohms current. So your circuit is only single loop circuit. only single loop circuit, 15 ohms, 5 ohms, V2 and I2. What about your V1 current? So V1 current is across the 5 ohms. So in this circuit, observe the circuit. So V1 current, which V1 we have, this here 10 ohms is open. So which voltage we have 5 ohms, that voltage is your V1 voltage. So in this condition, which we have like 5 ohms at V2 current, at 5 ohms V2 current, for in this condition, I1 equal 0 condition, at 5 ohms we have V1 current. When V2 is acting, here V1 is acting, here V2 is acting. Okay, now here we have V1 value. So here how many loops we have? Again only one loop, that is I2 current. So I2 current means I2 equal to V2 by your total R. What is your total R? 15 plus 5. So V2 by 20. Then V2 by I1, I2 equal to 20 ohms. So V2 by I2, V2 by I2, observe here. So V2 by I2 is nothing but Z22, that is 20 ohms. Clear? Now coming to V1 current, V1 voltage. Coming to V1 voltage, so across the 5 ohms. So same as 5 into I2 is nothing but your V1 value, is nothing but your V5 ohms. Now V1 by I2 is your 5 ohms. So V1 by I2 is your 5 ohm, Z12 value. Okay guys, so this is when we know the conditions. When we know the condition, we can find out the values of Z parameters. Suppose I don't know the condition, I know only equation, then I want to find out the, so I don't know like what is the open circuit, what is the short circuit, where I need to find out the open circuit value, where I need to find out the short circuit value. It's some difficult to measure. Okay, now I know the equations, so that V1 value, V2 value in form of I1, Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2 and Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So I know the equations. Now observe the small logic here. When T network we have, Z parameters is very simple. When T network we have means Z parameters very simple. Okay, now observe here. This is some supply we have, that is like a V1 supply, and here we have like a V2 supply. Just observe, assume some voltage we have. Okay, now go for like mesh analysis. So loop 1 and loop 2. Loop 1 and loop 2, here I1 current and here I2 current. Just assume. Okay, now write the equation for each loop using Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now V1 equal to 10 plus 5. So 10 plus 5 I1 and plus 5 I2. So we have like V1 equal to 15 I1 plus 5 I2. And same thing loop 2. Loop 2 we have V2 equal to 15 plus 5 I2 plus 5 I1. So V2 equal to, you can write like 5 I1 plus 20 I2. This is equation 2. So equation 1 and equation number 2 can compare with A and B. Equation number A and equation number B. So V1 I1 in form of I1 I2, same I1 I2. So what is your Z11 value now? So Z11 equal to 15 and Z12 and Z21 equal to 5 and Z22 equal to 20. It's very simple. When we have a T network and to find out the Z parameters, it's very simple to find out those values. Okay, so when we know the equations, we know the equation. So from circuit to equation we need to write, then compare both equation, Z parameter equation and circuit equation, then get the answer for Z parameters. Okay, So in previous I said like conditions. So we have different conditions. Using that condition, you can find out the z parameters values. Here, using equation, we can find out the z parameters values. Now, from this equation, I want to find out the y parameters values. So first, I will go to the equation, then again conditions. So from this circuit, I know the equation like a V1 equation, V2 equation using mesh analysis. Now I want to go for the y parameters for this circuit. So for T network, and find out the y parameters. So what is the y parameters values? So y parameters is I1 is equal to y11 V1 plus y12 V2. Same thing, I2 equal to y21 V1 plus y22 V2. So these are the two equations when y parameters. Now I want to compare both equation, means this is V1 form and V2 form, but here we have I1, I2. So just convert this two equation in V1, V2 we have, convert into I1, I2, we'll get that y parameter. It's very simple, guys. Just observe here. So from this equation, write in like a matrix form. So 15, 5, 5, 20. So I1, I2 equal to V1 and V2. So these are the matrix from equation to circuit. So equation to matrix. Now for this matrix, use the Cramer's rule and find out the I1, I2 values. So for the Cramer's rule means I1. If I want the I1 equal to del of delta 1 by del of delta, and I2 value del of delta 2 by del of delta. So for this I want like del of delta 1, same del of delta, same del of delta. So first I will go to the delta value. So delta value is your main matrix. So 15, 5, 5 and 20, this is your main matrix. So for this del of delta is, so cross multiply 15 into 20 minus 5 into 5, the value is 275. Okay, and del of delta 1, first I will go for delta 1. So I1 current, so where you have the I1, remove the I1 and substitute your equal to values, that is V1, V2. So remaining 5 and 20 is as it is. So your del of delta 1 is 20 V1 minus 5 V2. Okay, and next delta 2 value, again 15, 5 as it is, remove the I2 values, substitute the equal values. So V1, by, so not by, so V1, V2, then your del of delta 2 is equal to, so we have like a 15 V2 minus 5 V1. Okay, then find out the I1 value. So I1 value is 20 V1 by 275 minus 5 V2 by 275. Now, and I2 value is minus 5 V1 by 275 plus 15 V2 by 275. So we'll check it now. What is your the Y1 value, Y2 value, and Y12, Y21 values. So Y11 value is, that is 20 divided by 275. The value is 0.072. Okay, and Y12 value, so 5 by 275. So 5 divided by 275, the value is minus 0.018. Observe here, we have a minus value in this I1 equation. When I compare with the I1 of Y parameters, impedance parameters, we have the plus value. So minus plus means we have the minus value at Y parameter. Okay, and Y21 value is y21 value is same, which we have minus 0.018. Okay, and y22 value is 15 by 275. The value is 0. So 0.054. So ohms inverse is units. Y means is admittance. So these are the admittance values for this T network. Okay, this is the when we know the equation. So equations to your values when you are comparing with the y parameters equations. So these are the Z equation. From this Z equation, I have y equations. So these are the V1, V2 means Z parameters equation. I converted it into y parameters equation. This y parameters equation compare with your main equation. Then we'll get like admittance values. Okay. Now I want to go through like conditions. So which conditions we have? So y parameters. We know the y parameters. Now I will go for the conditions. So V2 and I2, same I1 primary side and secondary side. Now conditions. I1 is equal to y11 V1 plus y12 V2. Same I2 equal to y21 V1 plus y22 V2. Now from this equation I want to go for like conditions. Suppose V2 equal 0. So V2 equal to 0 means second side is short circuit. Now I can find out y11 value, that is I1 by V1, and I can find out like y21 value, that is I2 by V1. Okay. Now when V1 is 0, so V1 is primary side is short circuit, then I can find out like y12 value I1 by V2, same y22 value, that is I2 by V2. So these are the conditions. So when we know the equation, y parameter equation, from that equation you can find out like y parameters values using some conditions. So like second side short circuit or primary side short circuit. Now first I will go for second side is short circuit. So same circuit. For this circuit, secondary side is short circuit. So here we don't have voltage V2. V2 is 0. V2 is 0 means it's short circuit. So remaining is as it is. So here the some supply V1. So V1 we know, and 10 ohms, 15 ohms, 5 ohms is as it is. V2 is 0. And here we have like I2 current. Here we have like I1 current. Okay. So from this circuit, and it measure I1 value, V1 value and I2 value. So I1 value, V1 value and I2 value. First I will go for like I1 value. For I1 value, so don't worry about like I2 here, just worry about the I1 value. First I1 value, then we will worry about the I2 value. Okay, first I1 value. So for I1 value, so source current and source voltage. When I know the source current and source voltage means I can find out the impedance value. So for this 15 and 5 both are in parallel series with your 10 ohms. So here 15 and 5 parallel means your circuit will be changed to one circuit. So V1, I1 and here 10 ohms. What about 15 and 5? Both are in parallel. Parallel means we'll get like 15 into 5 by 15 plus 5. The value is 3.75. So 3.75, that is your equivalent value when two in parallel. Then from this I can measure like a I1 value. So what is your I1 value? Voltage by resistor. Which voltage we have? V1 voltage by your resistor 10 plus 3.75. So 10 plus answer. The value is I1 by V1 equal to 0.072 ohms. Clear? So I1 by V1 equal to 1 by 13.75. 1 by 13.75 means you are 0.072. So same thing which we have like earlier. Okay. So Y11 value, which value that is? Y11 value. So Y11 value is 0.072 ohms. Ohms inverse. Okay. Impedance means ohms. Admittance means ohms inverse. Just remember that. Okay. This is when I can find out like I1 and V1. We have the Y11 value. But I want now I2 value also. I2 means I2 by V1 is nothing but your Y21 value. So how will get like I2 value? Same current division rule. It's very simple. So from current division rule, so I know the source current. I want I2 current. I2 current equal to, that is 15 ohms current. So 15 ohms current means I2 current. So we have the reverse or forward bias. It's a reverse bias. So I1 is incoming but I2 is reverse. This is also incoming. So we have a minus value. Minus I1 into source current into opposite resistor. That is 5 ohms by total resistor. 5 plus 15. So what is the I1 value? Just substitute this I1 value here. I2. What is the I1 value? Minus V1 by 13.75 into 5 by 20. Now we'll get like a I2 by V1 value. So 5 divided by 13.75 plus 20. The value is, so we have minus 0.018. Same as your previous answer. So same will get the answer. So using conditions and using equations. So we know like 0.018. Okay. And moving to second condition. What is your second condition? Now V2, here V2 equal 0, we can find out like Y11 value and Y21 value. Now V1 equal 0 now. So V1 equal 0 means primary side is short circuit. So secondary side is as it is. And 10 ohms, 5 ohms and 15 ohms, and your voltage is as it is. Okay. And 10, 15, 5, and here we have V2. So V1 is 0, short circuited. And here we have the I1 current, and here we have I2 current. Same, which method we have from V2 equal 0, same method you need to follow here. So from this, both are in parallel. So we have like a equivalent value 10 into 5 by 10 plus 5. The value is 3.33. So 3.33 and 15. So 15 ohms and 3.33. Here we have the I2 current and here V2. So I2 equal to V2 by your total. So 3.33 plus 15. So 18.33. So I2 by V2 is equal to, from this equation, I2 by V2 is equal to 0.05. Okay. So from this, I am to find out the I1 value. So here with the I1, same current division rule. So from current division rule, I1 of 10 ohms equal to I2 into opposite resistor. 5 by total resistance. 5 plus 10. So I2 substitute here. So which I2 we have? Substitute here. So I1 equal to V2 into 0.054 into 5 divided by 15. So your I1 by V1 is equal to, so answer into 5 divided by 15. The value is same, minus or plus. So direction is minus here. So don't forget the minus. So I1 current, I2 current both are reverse. So minus, and here also minus will get 0.018. Okay. Your values, Y11 value, Y12 value, and Y21 value, Y22 value. So this is minus 0.018 and this is like a 0.018. 0.072 and this is like 0.054 ohms inverse. Okay, so this is about Y parameters. When I know like T network, from T network to equations to Y parameters, otherwise conditions to Y parameters. Okay, so same thing, I want to find out like ABCD parameters as well as H parameters. Now we have like I1 and I2, V1 and V2. So from this we know the equation. So V1 equal to 15 I1 plus 5 I2 and V2 equal to 5 I2 plus 20 I1. Now these are the equation using mesh analysis to loop 2 equation. So from these two equations, I can find out the ABCD parameters as well as H parameters. It's very simple. Just observe clearly. For ABCD parameters, we have the equation for ABCD parameters V1 and I1 in form of A V2 minus B I2 and same C V2 minus D I2. So if you observe here V1 and V2, V1 and I1. Here V1 and V2. So in form of V2 and I2, V2 and I2. If you convert I1 in form of V2 and I2, it's very simple. So here we have 20 I1 is equal to V2 minus 5 I2. Am I right? So your I1 is equal to 1 by 20 V2 minus 5 by 20 I2. It's very simple, guys. If you know the equation, you can convert into which equation you want, H parameter equation or Y parameters. Same thing, what is H parameters? So H parameters is V1 and I2. So it's a like combination of primary and secondary voltage as well as current. So H11 I1 minus, so plus H12 V2. Same H21 I1 plus H22. So if you observe first equation, compare with this. You compare with those equations, we will get like H11 value and H2 value. If you go to conditions also very simple. For ABCD parameters as well as H parameters, we have currents like ABCD parameters, I2 current and V2 current is 0. Okay, and H parameters, I1 current and V2 voltage 0. Now V2 voltage 0 means secondary side is short circuit. Then find out the values. And this is already computed with Y parameters, am I right? And coming to I2 is 0 means secondary side is open. So we have like Z parameters. From the Z parameters, we know I2 is 0 means how to find out remaining values. Okay, and I1 also 0. So primary side is 0. Okay, if you know the conditions, it's very simple. And if you know the equations also, it's very simple. So any manner, you can find out these two-port network parameters. Okay, so this is about small glance on two-port networks. T parameters. When you know the T parameters, go for the Z parameters. So T networks, not T parameters. When you know the T network, then go for the Z parameters. And if you know the Z parameters, from the Z parameters, you can find out remaining parameters. It's very simple. Okay, guys. If any queries on this two-port network, just comment in the comment box. And thank you for watching. Please watching my videos.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.